Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to PhotoBiz Live. This is Joanne from the PhotoBiz team, and today we're joined by Monica Burby for a webinar titled 10 Ingredients to Spice Up Your Studio. In this webinar, Monica is going to share 10 creative and inexpensive ingredients to spice up your studio. You get ideas on do-it-yourself backgrounds, fun signage, spoiling your clients, and more. With over 18 years of photographic experience, Monica has learned what ingredients it takes to operate a successful portrait studio, and today she's going to share some of that with all of you. In addition to getting the opportunity to learn from Monica in today's webinar, we'll also have a question and answer session at the end of the webinar. You can submit your questions using the chat tool and they'll be answered after the presentation, or you can also join in the discussion on Twitter by using the hashtag #PhotobizLive. If at any point during today's webinar you have any difficulty hearing the speaker or seeing the slides, please use the comment box to let us know. We'll also be recording this webinar and it'll be available for replay on our YouTube channel at youtube.com/photobiz. With that being said, I'll turn things over to Monica.
Okay, thanks Joanne so much for the introduction. I'm excited to be here with you today. It's been a little over a year since our last webinar with PhotoBiz, and a lot has changed with our business. As most of you know, we have had a home studio for several years, and you know, there was a lot of things that weren't particularly ideal, and so we have been able to make a move to a new home studio. And so a lot of what I'll show you today are some things that we have implemented in the last just couple of months, really, to get our new studio up and running. So hopefully there'll be some good tips here that you can take and use in your either home studios or retail spaces. Okay, I'm going to get going on these slides here, if I can get it to work. Okay, just a little bit about me. If you guys are interested in connecting after the webinar, I'm more than happy to answer any questions. You are welcome to reach me at any of the following addresses here. My personal email is monica@photoumbra.com. Photoumbra Studios is the name of our portrait studio, and we have a couple of different branches off of that. Senior portraiture is our specialty, and then we have a family and children's and pet portrait company as well. Studio Thought Sauce is our company that my husband and I started probably about 3 or 4 years ago. And what we do there is we just have some products that we've developed mostly to share with the community, various things that we've learned with doing our studio over the last 9 years. And I did want to give a shout out to PhotoBiz since they are hosting this today. Just wanted to especially thank them for helping us over the last couple months with our transitioning to a new city. They were excellent at helping us with our SEO. We transitioned our website to the HTML5, also added a store in, and we've just loved what's happened. Within a month, we're on page #1 of our area for several search terms, and we attribute all that to the great website and support that we've received. We've been with PhotoBiz for, I think, since 2007, so quite a while, and we've just always been really happy and love their passionate support. So thank you, PhotoBiz. Okay, I'm just going to preface a lot of what I'm going to say just so you understand how our business is structured. As Joanne mentioned, I've been doing this for 18 years. The first 10 years I did a lot of schooling, I did a lot of fine art photography and assisting. Gave me a really good basis for the medium of photography. And then about 8 years ago, I wanted to open up my own portrait studio when I started my family. And so we built our first home and didn't really expect the home portrait business to be as successful. And so there was a lot of things that were limiting. Like we were having to have our clients come all the way through our home, and it was just a difficult situation. The ceilings were only 8-foot ceilings, so there were some limitations there. But as I mentioned, we've gotten a new studio, so I'll show you a little bit of that in the slides coming up here. We typically do about 100 to 120 clients a year, so I would consider us fairly low volume, and we do about 70% seniors, about 30% family, kids, and pets. And I am the only full-time employee at this time. We have 2 part-time employees, and they help out a lot with the photo shoots, the lighting. They help out with some of the marketing. And then I really use our model team to do a lot of the things too, like give them opportunities to go to events and help promote us and those kind of things. So I do consider them somewhat employees, even though they aren't really on our payroll. But I've got 7 of those models this year, and we typically have 12, but we did a little less this year because we got a late start with the move of our studio. So one of the things that I just wanted to mention about our business is that because we are, I would say maybe high volume for one employee, but low volume for several employees, is that we really, to us, to be successful, is that we have to have a really efficient workflow, we have to be priced profitably, and then we have to wow every client. And so those are things that we've talked about in a previous webinar. So if you haven't had a chance to check that out on PhotoBiz YouTube channel, we've got a webinar on there that goes through those items in much greater detail. So today we're going to focus on just some things that you can do in your studios to make your client experience a little bit better, and things that you can do to make your photo shoots maybe more interesting. And then we'll go through some questions at the end. So the first one we're going to talk about is signage. And before I get right into that, I was just going to show you a quick picture of our new studio. This is our new home, and I'm really excited that we have a separate entrance. On the left side, you can see we just open up our gates, and they can enter through there. There's a stone walkway, which was a big deal for me. Okay, with signage, the 4 things that we're going to talk about today with signage is how you can continue your brand throughout the signage to create a cohesive experience. The other thing that we're going to talk about is how, especially with home studios or retail space that maybe is a little bit off the beaten path, letting your clients know where you're at, that they're in the right place, is really important. I can't tell you how many times I've gone to businesses, whether in home or other areas, and things haven't been clearly marked. I didn't know if I was going in the right place, and that just kind of made me feel a little bit uneasy as a client. Directions we'll talk about, how you can use those signage for that, and then props, how you can incorporate that into your photo shoots. So it's not like you have to have just a normal welcome sign or anything like that. You can get really creative with it. This is one that we just put down right by our door opening so that they knew that they were welcome just to walk right in. These are some other signs that we use. The chalkboard sign, we just found an old barnwood frame at a secondhand store, spray painted the picture with chalkboard paint, and then created this sign, and we just customize it for whichever client's coming or a family. We go ahead and put that by the door, somewhere by the entrance, and almost every single time somebody comes and takes their picture of it. We had one just yesterday that came in, and she had her daughter stand in front of the sign and hold the sign and take a picture of it, and she put that on Facebook. So it's just a fun little thing to make your clients feel welcome. The one on the bottom we have on our dressing room door. It is movable, so we'll sometimes move it to our, we call it the Galleria, but it's basically where we go in and show the clients their images and they order. So we move that one around. And that one is a metal sign, and the thing I love about the metal signs is that you can design it any way you want. You can see we've put a great border on it, the text, everything matches our branding, and then of course a dry erase marker just wipes right off, so it's really easy, clean, and the clients always really like how fun that is with the different shapes and everything. And this is our main studio sign. My biggest regret is that it's probably not big enough for a drive-by. So if you are in a location where you need a little larger sign, this particular sign, size wouldn't be big enough. This sign is about 15.5 by 9.5 inches long, and so it's fairly small for my particular situation where my clients know that they are coming to a home studio. I think it's adequate, but just make sure that when you are doing your signs, cut a piece of paper out and write about what size you think that your text is going to be, and then put it up on your location and see how it looks from the street or from the sidewalk, wherever your clients will be coming from, because things easily can seem dwarfed when you're talking about, you know, a big building or something. So that would be my word of advice on that. So like I said, this is our entrance. We still have so many things that we want to do to make our entrance, you know, more pleasing. This is really just like I said, just a start for us here, but I think even just having, you know, topiaries or some sort of, you know, welcoming pots or anything like that with flowers, something that says this is the direction that you should be going, and make it feel welcoming. So as our clients enter, they go down a path, a stone stairway, and there's a couple areas of the stone stairway that are a little bit tricky to navigate. They're a little bit steep. So we created this sign on the left here, and this was actually an old Christmas sign, and it had like a reindeer crossing or something on those little things. So I saw that at, you know, just a junk store, secondhand store, and decided to take that, and we just spray painted it and then created our own text on that. And the one on the right actually is a work in progress. That little arrow I found at, I think it was Big Lots or something like that, but it was a beach sign, and we've just spray painted that. And then what we're going to do with that is create our logo with an enter here or something like that, and on wax paper, and you can actually print that backwards on wax paper and rub it onto the sign and create your own custom graphic. And you could do that with, you know, any of the examples that I've shown on wood. If you want to spray paint it, give it a nice even background, and then print whatever design you want backwards on the wax paper, rub it on, and then give it a little spray coat of sealant, and it should last really well for you. So I think that will be a fun project. This is our sign that we created for our restroom, and we always get a lot of compliments on that it's really cute. We just took two silhouettes, put them back to back for the man and the woman, and then again use the same design that we used throughout on our signage. And I know some of you may be wondering where we got these. We got these particular ones from H&H, but they have them in, most labs carry these in all different cuts and sizes. Okay, so I'm going to show you a little bit of a DIY. I have seen this, other photographers do this. I always wanted to create a sign that or a little plaque, I guess, where we could write down the outfits that our girls or our guys will be wearing during their photo shoot. And so I found this plaque. It was a little bigger than 11 by 14, so I knew that would be about the perfect size. And again, we just found it at a secondhand store. We took off the plexiglass and spray painted it. The plexiglass had a lot of grungy stuff on it that we had to scrape off. And then I just designed in Photoshop a wardrobe styling sheet with, you know, 5 different outfit possibilities on here, and then we just put that under the plexiglass and hung it in our dressing room, and then that way we can write their different outfits, which, you know, may seem like you don't really need it, but there's been so many times when I'll sit down with my client when they first get in and we'll talk about their outfits, and if they've got 3 or 4 outfits, it quickly gets lost in my mind what we discussed and what shoes they were going to wear with what. And so this has been, we've only had this up for about a month, but it's made a huge difference, and the girls get a kick out of it, and I see them taking pictures of even the sign and posting them on their social media. So just another little fun idea that you can use, and I think my cost for this was $2 for the plaque because it was a second-hand one, a little bit of spray paint, and then, you know, $4 or $5 for the 11 by 14 print. So very inexpensive way to do this. And then because it's on plexiglass, the dry erase just washes right off, and it's very easy to clean and update. So another thing that you can use your signage for is props. And the sign you see on the left, that's our barnwood frame, and we go ahead and we'll erase that from time to time and then put other messages on it, or just create it blank and put something later on in Photoshop if the client wanted. This particular girl saw that thought that she would really like that for her graduation announcements, the class of 2013, so we went ahead and used that in that way. And if you do have areas in your studio or outside your studio where you can spray paint or create other type of signage, this one's a really fun one that's just on the rusted metal that says senior, and it can be used over and over and over again. It's just something fun to add in. Okay, now this is also a work in progress. We have a lot of work in progress at our studio right now. So we have a pole that we've put, and we've put the really popular, globe lights, the party lights that we have. We have those strung all out over our studio gardens, and it creates a really fun atmosphere. But one thing we're going to do on that pole is we're going to dress it up a little bit. And we're going to put arrows going to the different sets that we have throughout our yard. And one of the sets that we'll be building this summer is a beach set. And then we have an urban set which will be using corrugated metal and things like that. So this pole will be full of different arrows pointing all different ways, and it'll say, urban this way, the beach this way. We have a building that we call the chateau that we're working on right now, and so it'll hopefully be a fun area. The other idea that I was thinking would be fun with this type of thing that you could easily make is just get a 4x4 post. We carved the post out a little bit with just an axe to make it look a little more rugged, and then stained it, as you can see here. And you can also put signs and do, class of 2013, or if you're into babies or something like that, you could have a sign that says, 1 year old or something like that, and you can, do different signs for different occasions, different photo shoots, and it could be a really cute little backdrop. Okay, so this is nothing new, I know, but the reason I included this is because it has been really popular at our studio, and we've only had it up for a couple months. But what we did is I found this really hideous frame and piece of artwork, again, at a secondhand store. It was $3 or $4, and I just took the artwork out, spray painted right over the artwork with the chalk paint, spray paint, and then spray painted the rest in our white that we use for a lot of our different things, and just popped that back in. And then I didn't use chalk, actually. I didn't end up using chalk, and the reason why is because it is such a huge frame that when people were writing on it, it would kind of smear down. And so what we did is used a metallic pen, and I know this will fill up. It'll probably fill up, before the end of the year. But what I think I might do is just do a fresh coat at the beginning of the year and paint over it, or I can always keep these and place them somewhere where we can kind of keep an archive of the different years, like Wall of Fame 2013, 2014, and keep them in storage or bring them out for different occasions or hang them somewhere in your studio if you have the space. So again, super inexpensive way to get a really big piece that the kids absolutely love it. It's fun to see their personalities come through and their comments. And again, this is one thing that they'll sign and then they'll stand in front of. I have them stand in front of it, and we'll do a portrait, usually the both of us, and we'll just point to what they say and put it on Instagram or Facebook or something like that. So just another chance for our clients to interact. Okay, so we're going to talk about a few easy backdrops that are really inexpensive. They're fairly quick to put together, and then the thing I like about making my own backdrops, and don't get me wrong, I have tons of pre-made backdrops that I absolutely love and use every day, but sometimes you get tired of those and you want to be able to do something that you're not spending $300 or $400 on every time you want a new backdrop. So here's a couple ideas that maybe you'll be able to use. This is our fabric curtain strips. And let me show you what we did. We went and got cheap fabric from various stores that were on clearance, and you want them to be fairly long, so you want to make sure that you have the length of the yardage that you want so they can hang down and make an impact, if you're hanging them from a tree or from a window or something like that. But these are really easy. Get material that can be easily torn, because cutting it with scissors will take you forever. I made that mistake on a couple of my fabrics, and really regretted it, but most of the fabrics that we chose were very easy to tear and gave a really nice texture when you would tear them. So we had, probably 7 or 8 different fabrics, and we just tore them in strips, probably about 1.5 to 2 inches wide, depending on the material. And then we just tied them on PVC pipe. The first one that I did, I actually did on an old, it's kind of like a wooden futon, the circular ones, you know, that they have a big pad that you can sit in. I'm not sure what they're called, but you can, I did it on that and then hung it from a tree. The problem I had with that was that the wooden seat, the circular seat, while it created a really cool dome and created, and allowed the material to kind of create a semicircle, so it was really cool, it was very heavy and it was really hard to maneuver above your head to attach to a tree or something like that. So I just found it really wasn't super practical for me to be hauling around and trying to make it fit in the car and those kind of things. So I actually took all of that off and put it on a PVC pipe. I just found one on the side of the road and grabbed it. You could also use a curtain rod, would be really easy too, but this was free. So, and I just tied them in knots. And it just creates this beautiful flowy fabric. You could do really bright colors with fun textures. We went with a really neutral one. And then this is an example of what you can get with it. So just really fun. The kids like it. The other reason that I liked utilizing this is that in the area we have a stairway that comes down from a porch up above. And the area is really pretty, but the stairway itself doesn't lend itself to great photos, in my opinion. So we put that along that wall, and that way it kind of blocks the stairway coming down. I'm just going to go back and see if you can see it. You can't see it from that angle because it blocks it pretty good. But in any case, it's created just a nice diversion away from some unsightly areas, and in turn created a really fun place for our clients to frolic in, I guess. And one other thing that we have been doing a lot of at our studio is painted doors. Now doors you can find a lot of places. I've seen them on the side of the roads, I've seen them secondhand places all the time, and they're usually relatively inexpensive to get. And so what we've done is watched a lot of YouTube tutorials on how to create, an antique look, get the different colors of paint showing through the doors, and you can go wild with these. The cool thing about the doors is that they're two-sided. So one side you could have, maybe these Tuscan colors that we have here, the yellows and the greens and the blues, or you can turn it over and go with something really bright. You can have them graffitied. So they're really a flexible prop that you can use in a lot of different ways. The other great thing about them is they're essentially large panels. So under our porch is a great place for us to shoot because we do a lot of our sessions throughout the day, and if we're shooting at 11 or noon or 1, under the porch is an excellent place because it's always shaded. The bad thing about under the porch, as you can see on this girl's right-hand side, is that we have a lot of, just bare cement, and then the stucco starts. And so it's not particularly appealing. And so it was important for me to have something that I could use to block that area and make it a little bit more appealing in the background. And the doors have been a great way to do that. So I'll show you what we've done just recently. We got these 2 doors, and they are painted differently, but they do coordinate. And the reason, you could absolutely do them the same. That would look really cool too. I wanted to do different because frequently we don't shoot a whole door because we do a lot of seniors, so it's single person. So I like having the variety in the shots. And then just to spice it up, if you see, to me that's kind of boring. It doesn't really look finished. And so to finish off this little, we call them vignettes, we just added some branches and just created a little bit of an arch with those. And that's been really popular. Okay, one other thing that we did in our area, and you could do this for inside your studio if you don't have any outdoor space. But if you want a really authentic looking backdrop and you love the old rustic woods, this was really easy to do. What we did is we actually found a bunch of old wood. Unfortunately, it was already mounted on a piece of fence or piece of door, and it was extremely heavy. So what we had to do is we actually stripped the wood off of its frame just to give it a little bit lighter feel, and then we got a 4x8 plywood sheet, and then we nailed those down. And we didn't quite have enough wood to fill up that full 8 feet, so what we did is we got some cedar planks, and you can see, I'll go to the next one. I'll come back to this one, but you can see how we interspersed the new cedar planks in with the old wood, and then stained that and just created a nice backdrop that we've had a lot of success with, and we've only had it up for about a month, but almost everybody that comes in wants their pictures in front of it. We had some old metal that we've collected on photo shoots and things, and we've stuck those up. We do plan on creating some vintage posters for cycling or motorcycles or something like that that we can have available, and then just stick them up, and so it'll be kind of a fun thing that we can use for some of the guys maybe that come in that are cyclists, or old vintage football posters or something like that that you can put up on that fence and make it look like something old-fashioned. And this was easy too. The other thing you could do, which we didn't do here, but we were going to, the reason we didn't is because we did want this to be a permanent structure here for privacy. But you could also, because the plywood is still fairly lightweight, if you wanted, you could create a backdrop on the other side, maybe do graffiti or something like that on the other side, and then put some little rollers on the bottom and just roll it around and flip it, so you have 2 sets that you can switch in and out. And it would be pretty easy to do if you had just the right space for that. Again, here's just some samples of some shots we did the last couple of weeks that we did in front of that backdrop. So with a lot of the backdrops, what we've talked about, one thing that we...
Okay, it looks like we may have lost Monica, so I'm going to try and see if I can get her back for us.
You know, in multi-usage ways, so you're not just limiting yourself to one thing.
Hi, Monica. Just wanted to break in for a moment. We lost you right before you went to switch back to the people sitting in front of the fence, so you might want to backtrack a little bit. So.
Okay. Did we lose my sound?
We lost the sound, and the video froze for just a moment. So.
Okay.
It was only about 30 seconds.
Okay. I'll just back up. I'll just back up to this slide. What I was saying is, when you create your backdrops, one thing that I always look at is I make myself have 2 different ways that I can use the backdrop, whether it's a backdrop for privacy, you know, like the fence. We really needed something there for privacy, and so we created a backdrop out of that. Or if it's for storage, you need a place to store something, or if it's just to cover, you know, unsightly areas that you don't want seen in your photos. So just try to think about that when you're designing your backdrops in your space to get multi-uses out of those. And I'm going to talk to you a little bit about how we created an art niche out of a window in our view and choose room. So this was our view and choose room that we had. It was, you know, a bedroom previously, so it had this ugly fan in it, and this window that was, this is in the basement, so the window didn't really do us any good, and I did need some more wall space in here, and I had that 30 by 40 canvas that you can see of the little girl there that I really needed a space for. And so what I decided to do was create a little niche out of this window and hang my artwork. And we also did replace the lights, if you're curious on that, so it can focus on the different artwork. Okay, so what I did is I just got a piece of sheetrock, cut it to the window size, and as you can see, I wasn't completely accurate, But I stuck it in there and really jammed it in as good as I could so it held pretty good. And then this is going to sound really bad, and you're probably, anybody that's in construction is going to, probably say I did a crappy job. But I was just looking for a solution that wasn't super permanent, so in the case we ever did want to move out of there, that we could and have it be a window again. So we just got gaffer's tape, the black gaffer's tape that a lot of us have in our studios, and just sealed up those areas that you could see the light coming through. And then I just painted right over the gaffer's tape. You can see that there. And we just painted it white. And then you can see how we were able to not only create a little ledge, so we had some more space to set frames on and our books, but a great place that we could put that 30 by 40 canvas that we didn't really have room for otherwise. So if you have a window and it's not of particular use to you, like we wanted it dark in this room, then you can think about covering it up and using it to display your images. So like I said before, one of the things that we've tried to do with our home is try to cover the different areas that we didn't feel like were really beautiful areas with something to make the client feel really welcome. And one of the things that we did as they walk in, there's this little fountain that's running and then some flowers here in pots. And the one on the left here, behind the shutter is a really ugly spout, and the water spout and everything like that is connected to it. And so it wasn't a particularly pretty area, especially in the winter where you can see that the trees are really thin. And so we created this little vignette, which we used as a photo backdrop, and then also just to create a sense of finishedness in that area so it wasn't ugly and showing those unsightly things that we didn't want in our studio. And you can see on the right how that has filled in. So we've almost had to move all of that stuff because the trees have gotten so big. And this is one fun little prop that we did. This is an old drawer, and then we just put shelves in it, and we just have some books sitting out there, and a lot of the kids have liked that for their senior portraits. So this is the stone stairway. You can see at the end of this tunnel that our clients come down for the first time. And the previous owners had a sandbox there, and so we removed the sandbox, and obviously it's not a cute area by any means, so we had some work cut out for us. So we went ahead and put stones into the ground and covered it with the rocks, and then got some shutters, and I'll show you. We actually spray painted those shutters and used some props that we previously had, like this bench, and tried to make everything match a little bit, and we used that for one of our sets. And there's still work to be done to this area, but it just shows you kind of where we've started here. And one thing with shutters, they make really great backdrops, and they don't have to be expensive. You can get the plastic shutters. These I got secondhand, but you can even buy them new for a reasonable price, and they spray paint up really well. And then you can just drill them into, whatever areas you're wanting to use, or keep them mobile and throw them on your different backdrops. Another thing that we use a lot are curtains, and these are inexpensive from IKEA. And you can see on the set here with the stripes, this is one of our most popular sets with the stripes. We had the ugly outlets here on the bottom right-hand side, and that was something that we wanted to have covered up and have it be a more complete set. And so we just got these curtains for, I think, $5 or $10 or something, and put those up, and it creates a nice little set. Okay, so I'm just going to show you a few of our area makeovers and some of the little things that we did to do that inexpensively. This is our dressing room that we had. We were given these two glass shelves here, and we wanted to incorporate them in just because I thought they were pretty and they were free, so we did that. I also wanted to have a vanity. The idea for the dressing room was to go a little bit more vintage French looking, and so we found some of the pieces. Again, everything was secondhand or things that we already had that we wanted to repurpose. And the vanity was a really dark brown, which I didn't envision in that room, and so we just spray painted that white, did multiple coats, And then we have a bunch of these old shelves from our previous studio, and I wanted to use that as a little makeup station. And so we just primed that with spray paint, spray painted it, and then sealed it. And same with that mirror you can see on the bottom right. That was a gold mirror, and then we just taped off the mirror part. Again, spray painted it so everything matched, and created a little makeup station. The mirror I got secondhand for $15, and the shelf was leftover, but I think even new, those aren't too much more than $20 or so. We did end up putting a little chandelier over it, as you can see on the right hand side there. We already had that little makeup chair, so we just stuck that in. And the bench there we already had as well for a photo prop. So it's frequent that sometimes we will even shoot in this room, but normally we'll just grab little backdrops out of here, like our bench and the umbrella, the hats, the suitcases, and use those in our photo shoot. Here's the other side of that room too. So just a really comfortable, friendly place, and a great place to store our backdrops that were a little bit more shabby chic. This is just an example of our hallway here, just to feature the artwork in a little bit unique way. These again are from IKEA. We just spray painted them to match our colors. They come in mirrors or frames. So okay, and this space, one thing that I just wanted to point out for home studio owners especially is that carpet, I think, can make a space feel really small. So if you can, you know, to eliminate that, you can go ahead and tear that out. That's the one thing that we had to do with this home, and you can see what a huge difference it makes. Obviously, getting rid of all the boxes and stuff makes it look bigger too, but getting those hardwood floors in, we just did the laminate flooring, helped tremendously with our space organization. You can see how I like to shoot corners a lot, so we utilized every little corner that we had in this room and kind of wrapped the backdrops into the corners, and that way I can shoot from the side and still have it look good, or shoot from the front. I apologize for the crappy pictures. A lot of this was my camera equipment was packed away for a couple months while we were moving, and so a lot of this is just cell phone pictures. But this is the same hallway, and one thing that we did at the end of the hallway to create a little bit more, I guess, of a urban look is that we took one of our backdrops, which was one of our most popular backdrops from Denny, and it's the brick backdrop, and we just put that up and wrapped that around the back of the wall, and we get so many compliments on that. And it also is a great backdrop for people, you know, even standing in the hall that will photograph them. We've got that great brick right behind them, and to me it just helped make it look a little bit more industrial and larger, and the wood helped as well. So okay, this is in one of our shooting rooms. We do have an adjacent shooting room that's a little bit smaller. It's only about a 10 by 10. And you can see our rolls of paper here, and we went ahead and put those up over the door. I had a hard time figuring out how to store all my large backdrops because ceiling space is a premium, as most of you photographers know that are in home studios especially. And so what we did is I basically found the most unsightly area where I would absolutely never shoot and utilize that area. So this back wall where we had the power boxes, and it's hidden by a frame that you see there, but all of our cable for the whole house was in that area, and so I knew I couldn't cover it up permanently. So we went ahead and just mounted these brackets, which we got at Home Depot, which were really cheap, $2 or $3 a piece, and we're able to stack quite a few rolls of our seamless paper up there. And you never see that unless you're being photographed in that room. And so this is another view of that same room. And we are creating some backdrops in there. We're going to be creating an old peeling wallpaper look, if you see that on the right, with some material, and it'll be all stained and kind of torn, and just a fun area that we can shoot. Another look of our space there. You can see that Wall of Fame picture. And then you can see how we utilize the ledge up in the upper part to store some of our 10 by 20 backdrops. Just another view of the entrance there. Okay, and this is just another view of the outside area there by that rustic fence. We just got a log, those kind of things, nothing too special, just saying that, you know, you can use really inexpensive items to create just fun backdrops, have them, you know, sitting on the logs. This is, I'm going to take you through a little bit of just what we've done with the space that we have. This is our chateau that we call it, and we found some old water cans, old air compressors, that kind of thing, and set those around, and the guys have absolutely loved having those in their photos, and even some girls. This is our stone stairway. The thing I love about this stairway is the shade, and so if you are planting trees or you have an area where you can put some foliage in, make sure that you can do it to where the sun won't hit your clients. You know, this is in shade almost the entire day, which is great, so we can get our clients in and out all different times of day and not limited to just the evening or morning hours. And then this is our waterfall that we've done, and we've had the stone around the edges to kind of finish that off, and those were just leftover stones from the chateau. And this has been a great area to do larger group photos. Okay, our last section here is on spoiling your clients, and this is taken from a party we did just a couple months ago for our models that were going to be graduating, and we did this really relatively inexpensively, this party. But the thing that I wanted to focus on this were these little boxes. They've created quite the buzz at our little events, and they're super inexpensive to do. And what I did is I got some boxes that are just the fold-up boxes, and I think they are like 3.5 by 2.5, you know, rectangular. And I got them off eBay. I think I got 1,000 of them for around $30, and that included the shipping. And then I took a picture of one of my favorite cameras that I, you know, used to photograph on for fun, my Lubitel. It's just a plastic little camera, and took photos of the front and the back of it, and then brought those into Photoshop, created a line drawing of it, and then altered some of the things, like I took out the Lubitel logo and put Photoumbra Studios on there. And then you can see on the left, I took the back of the camera and superimposed like a coupon with an expiration date that's blank, so I can go ahead and fill that in for the different events, and then just some fun things on the back. And then I had some stamps made of those line drawings with a company just on Etsy. There's tons of them, and those were relatively inexpensive. And then we just go ahead and stamp the boxes while they're flat, and then assemble them and put candy in them. And each one of our clients goes home with this after their shoot, little treat that they can have in the car, and then they can gift it to a friend, the coupon to a friend, or you know, they can use it in any way that they want. Another thing that you could do is put your social media information on the back of the box, and so that they can go home and upload their pictures to, you know, their Instagram and know how to tag you and those kind of things. This, I know, is super popular right now, so I'm not saying this is anything new, but I just wanted to share something that has really been popular with my seniors especially, although I think that it's huge for moms and things like that too, with children and family shoots. But we use a company called Pro Image Share, and the thing I like about them is they're a lot like sticky albums in the sense that they create these mobile apps, but super different in the sense that it's a one-time fee, extremely affordable. I think we got in on a promotion of theirs and bought the program for $29 or $39, and we get constant upgrades to it, and there's new features. And one thing that I really like about this is that they have integrated YouTube into it, so you can have actually video playing in your mobile apps that you give to your clients. And we just started using these coupon codes that you can see on the right, and I've already had a couple of kids call. We've only had these going for about a week, and I've already had a couple of kids call and use those coupon codes off there, so I know it's working. And this template that I got, most of it, where you see the cute designs, those are from Bird Design Shop, and those were free. And so you can incorporate those into your digital mobile app albums and give your clients something to brag about, something that they can go home. And I think that's really the most important thing that we try to focus on with a lot of these items that we shared, you know, be it the fun signage or just a unique backdrop or a client experience, is to give them something that they can talk about, that they can go home and share. One thing that we are utilizing more and more is the QR codes. It kind of seems like they've come and died and come back again, but the thing that I like about these is for the app, we bought a domain called mypickapp.com, and then I can just put my client's name right after that and load up their album to it, so it's a really clean URL. Or we can create a QR code for them, and that can go on like their timeline covers that we give them after they come in an order, or if you have model reps or you know, spokesmoms or something like that, you can give them little pass-along cards that have it, and when they click on it, it will download an app to their phone about from the actual person that they know. And so it's a little bit more special than, hey, just take me to my website. It's a little bit more individual, and then, you know, you can incorporate, you know, special offers or anything that you want on that. So there's just some ideas of some creative ways that you can use those QR codes. And we are having some temporary tattoos made. My model reps thought that might be kind of fun, that you can scan their little tattoo on their arm or their hand or something, and it'll take them to their mobile app. Okay, so that is it for our ideas here, and I'll answer some questions. I also just wanted to share that we have put out a second edition of our Studio Inspiration Guide, which we put out a couple years ago and was really popular. We added 3 new chapters, and we go through a lot of the things that we talked about in our previous webinar, which was our client wow flow. We talk a lot about space wars, how to designate your spaces. This is especially geared towards home-grown photographers, home-based photo studios. We have a whole section on DIY. We talk about professionalizing, how to be profitable, pricing, how to legitimatize your business, how do you define your success as a photographer, and then a whole chapter of resources and links that have you know, helped our business over the years. And then we also added in our most requested templates and forms that we had. We have 4 client care cards that we include in every order. You can see a picture there. So we include those templates, our ordering appointment reminder card, portrait session booking form, which is indispensable for me. If it weren't for that form, I would be a lost mess, basically. But it's designed really practically and on one sheet, which is really important for me. I don't like lots of paper sitting around, and easy to import into your studio software. A phone script form, reprint release. We have a consultation checklist form, studio payment plan form, and a referral thank you card template. And our regular price on this was $89, and we have it on sale right now for $49, but we are giving an extra $10 off from now until tomorrow at midnight, and you can just use the code PhotoBiz. If you're interested in that, you can go check out our site. It's studiothoughtsauce.com/store, and you can get all of the information on what's included in that guide and the templates, and it's actually more of a workbook, really. But I'll go ahead and turn the time over to you, Joanne. If you guys have any questions, I'm happy to answer them.
Thank you, Monica. That was a great presentation. We did get a couple of questions come in. I want to also kind of reiterate that you can, if you have some questions for Monica, you can type them into the question box, and we'll be happy to answer them for you. Or you can use the Twitter hashtag #PhotobizLive. So, okay, our first question is from Lori, and Lori actually had both a question and kind of a little tip to pass along, and she indicated that chalk ink works great and doesn't smear like regular ink, which is what Starbucks uses on their display. She passed that information
Oh,
along.
nice. Thank you. I didn't know about that. I'll have to check that out.
And she also asks, how do you store your roll-up floors?
My roll-up floors, I actually have just below that area that you saw where I had the seamless. And I used to be in the fine art world, and one of the things that I did a lot was exhibitions, and I even did some, fairs and had my work matted and stuff. And so I had a display shelf that was kind of triangular, and you'll see them a lot in stores that have like poster shops. And so they're kind of a triangular thing, and I love it because it has a base to it that normally would hold like a print, but I can just roll up my backdrops, and I can probably fit, probably 10 or 15 rolls of backdrops or the flooring there, and it only takes up, maybe 3 feet of floor space, and it's easily movable. I can move all 10 or 15 just by rolling it. So yeah, you can use those little stands that they use for, posters or frames, and see if you can get your hands on one of those, and it takes up hardly any floor space.
Great. Well, thank you, Monica, and thank you, Lori, for your question. We have our next question is from Kate, and Kate asks, where did you get the boxes that the candy came in?
Okay, those I just got off eBay, and I got those probably 3 or 4 years ago, so I don't know that I could point you towards a direct person, but I did do a lot of research, and I ended up finding that just searching the size of the box that you want on eBay, and if you want craft or you want white, you can come up with quite a few options. That was by far the cheapest way to get that.
Great.
So sorry I don't have the name, but they're probably not in business anyway.
Okay, she said thanks. So, okay, our next question is from Katie, and Katie asks, oh, this is a good question. Katie says, I have some sessions coming up where I'm traveling. Do you have any tips for holding an ordering session on location in their home versus a coffee shop?
If you could do in-home, I would always recommend in-home, just because you have the capability to envision the artwork on their walls with them. And then I'm not sure what your computer setup is like, but hopefully you do have a laptop or iPad or something like that, and you can go ahead and take that in. The great thing about today's technology is most people do have HDMI compatible televisions, and so I don't really see very many difficulties at all in just being able to transfer your information onto that display, whether it's your laptop or an iPad or something like that. Take that in, plug that right into their TV, and go forward that way. So
great. Well, thank you for that, Monica. If we have any more questions, go ahead and type them into the question box, and we'll get to them for you. No more questions? Okay, well, great. Well, I think that just about wraps it up then for today's PhotoBiz Live with Monica. Thank you, everybody, for your questions. And thank you as well, Monica, for taking the time to share with us today. Thanks to everybody who joined us. A recording of today's webinar will be posted on the PhotoBiz YouTube channel at youtube.com/photobiz. Also, be sure to check out our blog and watch your email for updates about future webinars. Our next webinar will be on Tuesday, June 25th, and Jeff P. will talk about making online selling easy, so don't forget to sign up, and you'll get some really great info on selling through your PhotoBiz store. Thank you again, Monica. We had a great time today. And that concludes our episode of PhotoBiz Live.